Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Today, I want to talk to you about the Valoi easy35. And first of all, I would like to disclose I do work at Camera Store, which owns Valoi. So Valoi is a product from the company I work at, but this channel is independent. Valoi or Camera Store are not seeing this beforehand. And you might have seen me in the Valoi campaign. That is because I was the easiest talent to put into camera to talk about the system. You might notice in the video that I am reading a teleprompter because they did have a spiel that they wanted to communicate in the message. And it is a little awkward for me to be reading because I usually just make these videos out of just speaking out of my mind. So this video is completely out of my mind. We're going to be talking about the easy35, what it is not, and what do I think about it. So first of all, if you were wondering what easy35 is, it's basically an easy system to scan 35mm film. So if you have been around the analog world, the shooting film in the last 5 years, you might have noticed there's a huge growth towards what they call digitizing film with a digital camera. This means taking pictures with a digital camera of your film and processing them in a computer. So if you're a traditional darkroom person, this has no sense for you. If you don't like touching your film or doing any of this work, just keep on using a lab. But if you're one of those that likes getting, their own stuff done and kind of want to save a buck, this is kind of system for you. Obviously, this is a 35mm solution. If you're shooting medium format, there are other systems either by Negative Supply, Valoi, Pixelator, and multiple others. So you can choose your scanning method. So easy35 has been trying to solve the problem that when you want to digitize film, you need to have a setup, quite the setup. And a lot of brands out there have been trying to solve this in the best way possible, but you end up needing multiple tools. Those are something to hold your camera upright, or at least close to upright and parallel to your film, which means either a repro stand, a tripod, a camera column, any kind of solution like the one I have back here that basically holds your camera pointing towards your film and is actually kind of sturdy and can be leveled up and down depending on the sizes of film you're trying to scan. Second, you need a holder. So this means something that holds your film as flat as possible, because we do know that film can curl either one way or the other. So you want to try to have it as flat as possible. And then some of these have started having advancements, which mean you can advance it with a little knob. They have a motor, or they just have to be like literally opened and closed like the Digitalizer and stuff like that. And then you need a light source, which has to go under, and this light source has to be CRI, is it CRI like 95 or more? Is the quality of the light good? Is the amount of light good? And so on and so on. And then you need, once you have all that together, and you need a digital camera and a macro lens, that is obvious. Once you have all that together, you usually want to also set it up. So you need to make the film and the sensor parallel for what you just basically need to make them parallel. It could be in any angle. So the most obvious one that people used to do or try to do is level it with a bubble. This is a common misconception of, yes, if everything is level, then it is basically parallel, but you could also be completely warped and still be parallel. So for this reason, for example, Valoi has a mirror solution that you put it on top of your film, you focus to the middle iris of your lens, and you're good to go. But the thing is, that is the setup. Then you have to have a dark room if you can, because the light overhead will reflect on your film and come into your scans and such, then dust problems and so on. So what the easy35 is trying to do, and I'll unscrew it from a digital camera, this is basically the complete setup, okay? And I'll do some B-rolls for you guys that want to see more detail. And this is an Indiegogo campaign, by the way, just in case you were wondering, it's on Indiegogo right now. This is the whole solution for 35mm scanning. And what this does is it has a light source in the back, and I'm going to turn it on so you guys can see on camera. You can see that. The diffusion you're seeing is because I'm using a diffusion filter, so the digital video doesn't look so sharp and nasty. So it has a light source built in, which is USB. You can use it with battery or plugged. And then it also even has the option to change color temperatures, which is not needed most times. And then it has what they call the S-curve holder, and I'm going to try to pull it out. So this thing pulls out, and this is the S-curve curve holder. What this does, it has a bit of an S curve, so it keeps your 35 film flat. And then you put it in here, it has a little lock on the side, and then it has some extension tubes. These extension tubes are modular, so the idea is you can screw them on or off, depending on the camera you're using to digitize. It's not the same to use film frame to Micro Four Thirds to APS-C sensors. It's not the same to use a 40mm macro to a 100mm macro to a 180 macro or whatever lens you're using. So this is modular for that very reason. So this basically just screws on to the front of your macro lens. In this case, we have a Sigma 70mm, if I'm not mistaken. This is the Valoi setup, so pardon me if I don't have it correctly. Oh my God, that's okay. So that is what it takes to set up, and that I was kind of butterfingers. That is what it takes to set up. Now all you have to do is focus on your film plane and start taking pictures. The good thing about it is this shields light. This takes care of the curve of the film, and it takes care of the light. So that's why it's called the easy35. The whole combined, gizmo does what you need with something like this. The difference is, because most people will be wondering, why would I get this and not this? This is all you can do. They are working on a slide holder, so you can do slides. But if you want to do 120 film or you want to do panoramics, you would have to use this, maybe take multiple pictures for expand. But this won't do anything else but 35mm, and it will just do no 120, basically nothing special, no 4x5, no 8x10, nothing like that. So that's why it's the easy35. To me, the main benefit, apart from the all-in-one package, is it's really small and there's not much you can do wrong. Like if you really try to make it scan wrong, it's kind of hard. So it's pretty good. The price point of this is 139 euros right now on Indiegogo. It's early bird, 200 people. Then it's 159, and then it'll be in the store at some point, and retailers for probably a little bit more than that. But for the price of, I don't know, 10 rolls scanned at a lab, you can start scanning your own 35. Obviously, uncut film is better, and if you have your film cut in strips of 1, then it might be a problem. But it can do strips of 2, strips of 6, strips of 5, or the whole roll. I just scanned 2 rolls of Kodak Gold that I had around here. The film is kind of expired, so the results are dubious, and my scanning technique is terrible because I barely scan film. I don't like it. But this just makes it really simple. Actually, the capture was around 1 to 2 minutes. I probably took 2 minutes because I was fiddling around with it a little bit too much. And then converting is what took me probably 4 to 5 minutes because the color, it was flash and daylight, so the color balance and everything was all over the place. But yeah, this solution, this easy35, is pretty nice if you ask me. I know there's many solutions in the market, like I said, from different brands. We have Negative Supply and all these guys that are doing stuff for this kind of setup. The modularity, like the professional or prosumer professional level scanning. This will give you professional level scanning with 35. And as you see, it's something you can handhold, literally scan from the sofa. I mean, it could have been like a joke to make a video on how to scan from the sofa, but you can scan from your sofa. And this is the biggest full frame body I could find, a pretty big macro. But if you use something like a APS-C camera with like a 40 or a 60 macro, the setup becomes quite small and quite compact. And depends on your budget. At the end is the digital camera and the lens is what's going to cost the most. But the easy35 is trying to solve that problem. And this is aimed for those people that shoot a lot of 35, that want fast turnaround, that don't want to complicate themselves with, finicky things like the normal traditional digitizing film, and also maybe don't even have the space. One of the biggest constraints I've always seen in film photography when you want to start doing it yourself, like the developing or the scanning, is usually most people don't have the space for a Jobo machine, or they don't have the space, they don't have a dedicated darkroom, or they don't have a dedicated scanning table or desk in their house. Most people have kids or their partners and they're living in flats and they don't have the space for these things. This solves that too. You can have this in a drawer, you can have it in a bag, you can have it anywhere, you can even travel with it. And it has a built-in diffuser inside, so it helps with the light spreading and the evenness. But honestly, it works really well. I've been scanning with this for a couple months here at work because I work with them and I'm pretty impressed. Should you buy it? I don't know. If you already have a solution that works for you, probably not. if you're looking for something small and easy, this is probably a good solution. But again, if you don't have a digital camera, a macro lens, then you are going to have to buy that. But honestly, I think it's pretty good purchase and a pretty nice product. I like the simplicity of it. Like there's not so much to it. It's just kind of like easy and it works. One thing you need to make sure is that you get the proper macro rings or the adapter rings. There's a bunch of information in the campaign, so make sure you read that. If you don't have a setup yet, I don't know if they have thought about that in the campaign, but probably there's some sort of like more rings than less rings option, and then you can basically build it out as you need down the road. But yeah, that's my opinion on the Valoi easy35. Like I said, I am working with them. I am in the campaign, so don't try to think I'm trying to impress you and show you something that is not. It's a very simple device that does what it has to do well. The campaign is, like I said, run by Valoi. They've done 2 other campaigns in the past, one for Valoi 360, and they were the organizers of the Santa campaign, Santa Color, and all those have been delivered. We're actually on batch 3 coming soon for Santa Color. So you are going to get your device. There's not going to be a problem. As because they're partnered and part of Camera Store, they basically ship like 180 to 200 packages a day. So doing something like this shouldn't be a problem logistically. But yeah, I'm quite impressed about it. I'm pretty happy with it. And honestly, I think it's going to be a good success. And I hope people out there enjoy it. The whole point of this is that you can shoot more film and enjoy film and share film. And that's about it. But yeah, thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.